Okay, real quick, I'm going to go over just some kind of basic troubleshooting tips and pointers that we give to folks. One of the first things I always like to point out, on the right-hand side of the door as you face the door, about head high, we have a sticker that is an 800 number that rings to our office. It's got a QR code that takes you to our website and shows you some of this stuff in video form, but more importantly, it's got a 24/7 800 phone number, rings directly to our tech support group. Call it. We're more than happy to help you. Most calls are a couple of minutes because most things are really simple to diagnose and fix. But one of the first things you're going to be asked to do when you make that phone call is reference your door controller, because it's the visual thing that gives us insight as to what the problem may be, which we'll go into right now.
When troubleshooting, we generally reference the diagnostic lights in the window beside the open and close button. Going down from top to bottom, we've got the primary safety. The primary safety generally includes any issues that have to do with the photo beams that are located at the bottom of the door. Most times if we see the primary safety lit up, we would expect that there's something blocking the beams, or we may have a wiring connection issue or a wire pinch somewhere. So we want to revisit to make sure there's nothing blocking the safety beams at the bottom of the door and all the connections are secure. Second, we've got auxiliary safety, which is something that we're typically not going to see on this model. Below that, we've got the lead edge switch. The lead edge switch is located in the top right of the head unit. It's going to reverse the door if the door comes into contact with anything that's not in the view of the photo eyes. So again, we'll want to make sure that the switch is in the right orientation, which is pointed down, and we'll want to make sure that the connection is secure there. The home switch is below that. The home switch is the 0 point of the door. Again, this is a switch that's located in the top right of the head unit. We want to make sure that the orientation is correct, which is pointed down, and that the wiring connections are secure. Below home switch is the feedback error. A feedback error is generally going to be an issue with the encoder. The encoder is located in the top right on the side of the door. The encoder counts the position of the door. So you can see in the display now we're reporting a door position of 291. So an error with the feedback or the encoder could mean that the door doesn't know its exact position, could be a sensor issue, or possibly a connection issue that you'll find on the top right on the box at the end of the door. Below that, you've got open switch, close switch, and stop switch. These diagnostic lights will illuminate if any of these buttons or contacts are held. So that could be an issue with your PLC holding a maintain signal on an open or closed switch, or it could be the physical 2-button switches where one of the contacts is held down or pressed into place. Anytime you're troubleshooting a door and you need to access the interior of the control box, you want to make sure that you turn power off using the lockout tagout on the side. If you have a lockout, you can use this on this switch. To access the interior of the control, you'll pop the 2 tabs on the side and open. Once we're inside the box, we'll point out the main components here. On the door of the controller, which we call the door assembly, houses our main PCB board, which also includes the software chip and terminal blocks where any external connections will be made to the door. In the back side of the controller, you've got a VFD and a brake module along the top. And then once you move down to the bottom, you've got your lockout, tagout, or your disconnect. And then you've got your terminal block where power will be brought to power the door. On the left side of the box, you've got your intrinsically safe barrier channels. And then in the middle, you've got an additional PCB board. This PCB board is where some of the connections will be made through the PCB board on the door assembly and through the intrinsically safe barrier channels. There's an additional diagnostic lights on the inside on this PCB board if additional troubleshooting is needed. The call out for these diagnostic lights are located in the manual.